So you've all been wondering, Coach, what do I do when A times C, it doesn't multiply, I can't find anything that multiplies to A times C and adds to B. And I know you've all been losing sleep over it, and I've got a solution. Today we're going to learn about completing the square. Alright, it gets a little bit tricky, but it's a pretty easy concept to gather. Alright, we're going to follow these steps over here as I do this first example. So there's supposed to be an equal sign, so we're just going to add an equal sign in here. It's going to equal 0. Alright, so I'm going to move the constant. 8 here is the constant, so I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides. I'm left with x squared. That's not a squared. X squared, there we go, minus 3x. I'm going to leave a big space and then equals negative 8. Alright, I left a big space because we are now able to do step number 2, which says divide b by 2 and square it. So b here is negative 3. Alright, so I'm going to take negative 3, I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to square it. Alright, so when we square fractions, we want to square the top and the bottom number. So negative 3 squared would be 9. 2 squared would be 4. Alright, and I'm going to put 9/4 into this blank space here, as well as on this side. Because what I do to one side, I heard you say I have to do to the other. Alright. So let's get rid of, whoops, nope, not that. Let's get rid of all that, if I could click on it. So you see how I got 9/4 now? Alright, it's just not working for me. Okay, we've gotten through step 3 and we got 9/4. Now we want to convert the left side to squared form. Here's what that looks like. So we're going to break it into x and x, right? And the number that goes here is just b over 2. So b over 2 was negative 3 over 2, negative 3 over 2. And notice we have the same thing twice. So instead of writing it twice, we can just write x minus 3 over 2 squared equals, and negative 8 plus 9/4. Let's see, that's going to be negative 5 and 3/4. Okay, which I'm going to rewrite that as 23, negative 23/4. And you guys can do the math on that. If we have a question on the fractions, you guys can ask in a second. Alright, and then this x minus 3 over 2 squared. Okay, so when we're factoring, we want everything to be equal to 0. So we have to add 23 over 4 back over. We want to add 23 over 4 back over. And our new function is this guy right here. Alright, I added 23 over 4 back over because this is called vertex form. Vertex form. Alright, I know that R looks like a V, but it's vertex, not vevtex. Just gotta trust me. But vertex form isn't all we want. We want to be able to solve this too. So before we do vertex form, we just want to solve this guy over here. So I'm going to start a new page to kind of break this apart. So I'm going to go back to x minus 3 over 2 squared equals negative 23 over 4. Alright, so just like we've been doing, when we have everything being squared by itself, I can take a square root of both sides. They can cancel each other out. I'm left with x minus 3 over 2 equals plus or minus the square root of negative 23 over 4. Then I can add 3 over 2, add 3 over 2. I'm left with x equals 3 over 2 plus and minus the square root of negative 23 over 4. So that's how we solve these. I know that's an extreme example. Y'all will have much easier problems on your worksheet. But we can follow me do one more. Okay, this equals 0. We're going to add 7 to both sides. Leave a space. Okay, let's divide 6 by 2 and square it. So we get 36 over 4. Or you could just say 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 3 squared is 9. Either way, you're going to get 9. We just want to put that there. Add 9 to that side, add 9 to that side. Alright, let's get rid of all that. And now we can write it in perfect square form. So b over 2 was 3, so I'm going to write x plus 3 squared equals 7 plus 9 is 16. Alright, now I've got everything squared by itself. Take the square root, take the square root. X plus 3 equals plus and minus 4. Alright, so I can subtract 3. So I'm going to have two answers. I'm going to have x equals 4, positive 4 minus 3, and x equals negative 4 minus 3. So my two answers are x equals 1 and x equals negative 7.